Hello, it's great to be here at the London Drum Show. Before I play, I would like to, as Josh mentioned, he's from Natal Drums. I would like to thank all the companies that are helping my appearance here. So obviously Natal Drums, Evelyn's Drumhead, Siljan Cymbals, and Vic First Sticks. As for what I'm about to do for all of you here, and for myself, I guess, is I just played at PASIC a few days ago, and I figured I had these two events coming up back to back. And I was wondering as to what I should do, and I decided to deal with the drum set as a solo instrument. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play two separate solos for you, and the idea behind the reason I'm playing two as opposed to one would be that they will be different in as much as I will have a different pretext for each of those. Oh, hello. And the first solo I'll play, they'll both be improvised, but the first one will be relating and related to only the things that I'm playing. In other words, I will not use internal hearing to have a pretext as a vamp or a bass line or a melody, whereas the second solo I will play. So basically in the first solo, everything I end up playing will be a reaction to what just happened on the drums. So I'll just be listening to myself playing the instrument and using motivic development and thematic development to create a story. On the second one, I will just let you guys know exactly what it is that I will be playing off of. I'll sing it out for you so you can relate to it, and then I'll play another solo based on that. So hope you enjoy it. We'll talk in a little bit. Thank you very much. I guess the one thing that I definitely didn't plan on, but we could talk about a little bit, you might have seen that the hi-hat clutch gave midway through the solo. So did the bass drum pedal, to the point where I was actually getting a clicky sound, and Josh is doing his best to fix that right now. But in improvised music, one of the things you have to do, I think, is adapt to the circumstances. So I didn't let it bother me. I actually used the clicky sounds as part and parcel of what I decided to do, or at least decided in the moment when I heard them, and I didn't think that there was any going back. Other than that, hopefully you recognize a few motifs, a few melodies that I use the drum set, thank you Josh, as a melodic instrument to, that I can do, thank you. And as I said, in no time during the play did I think of anything apart from the stuff that I was hearing come from the drum set, and much as in a conversation, or even in a monologue, as right now, I did my best to follow with a logical musical thought. And just is the way that I speak, I follow the previous sentence in order to be able to make sense. And as I said, as far as the second solo, what I'll do is I'll pick, or maybe you guys can even help me pick between a few things that I can refer to, and I'll sing them out for you so that you can have a reference. But before I go into that, are there any questions at all about anything that transpired in the first solo, or anything at all that I may be able to help you guys with? Anything? Yes, please.
I hear a lot about starting off with a fairly sort of simple thing to start with. You did very much the sort of almost like the Elvin Jones big splat to come in. Is that typical of the way that you approach your solos, the big statement to begin with?
Not necessarily. In fact, maybe the reason why it went there was exactly because very often it goes the other way around. You know, things don't have to start simple and quiet and become huge and bombastic. I mean, the solo does not have to always convert to a diagonal upward curve. There are so many different ways to move within music. I mean, if you think of classical music, usually you know, any sort of a longer form that has movements, the movements are typically different, and not necessarily are they always such that at the end you get the big bang and that they start easy. I mean, there's just so many ways to make music. So, but yeah, I definitely this time around I decided to go for something bigger. At Basic, when I played a few days ago, it was the exact opposite. I mean, I went for some trinkly stuff and went from there. But you know, one other thing that I wanted to mention about this, using the drum set in this way and thinking about honestly listening to what you're doing and continuing on the musical thought as they come, is really actually not only conducive to playing a decent and musical solo, but it also translates into the idea of playing in an ensemble. If you're able to listen to yourself and afford yourself the respect and the attention to listen to what you're doing and be able to contribute to that as you go along, that will inevitably and invariably transfer into or translate into your ensemble playing. So the attention and the respect you give yourself as a self-listener when playing a solo will be something that you'll carry into the ensemble setting and be able to utilize as an asset. In other words, being able to listen to other people and contribute to their playing, as well as hopefully they'll be listening to you, so that a nice 2, 3, 4-way, depending on the size of the ensemble, street can be developed. Any other questions or topic for our conversation that anybody else may have? Okay, cool. Yes, please. Say that, do repeat the question.
What's your thoughts on the three double bass patterns? So, the voicing and the double bass playing, what are you thinking about? That's a big way.
Okay, I mean, as far as the double bass, I mean, I've probably played it publicly, I don't know, maybe this could be the 17th time in my life that I take out a double pedal and actually play. So, I mean, I really think of the double bass as an added effect. I mean, I'm not much into music that has double bass going on all the time. As far as how I just use it as another tom, I suppose. And other than that, I mean, just, you know, another voice to play rhythms on or melodies on, but nothing in particular. Apart from getting the foot technique together on the left foot, which was requisite, because I mean, when I started messing around with double bass, my right foot was already pretty good, but my left foot, especially on a bass drum pedal, was not really trained in, so that took a little while to where I could feel comfortable enough. And then other than that, it's just a matter of hearing that sound and a matter of feeling confident enough to actually pull it out in public and play it. So not much more than that. Anything else? Yes? Well, I wish there were more hours in a day, but I will tell you, you know, Josh has alluded to the fact that I was at Berklee College of Music pretty young, and 2 years that preceded that, I practiced, I don't know, anywhere between 5 and 8 hours a day, and that went on for a long time. And these days, I really try to practice as much as I can. Obviously, I play a whole lot. I'm on the road a fair bit, so it's not always easy to find the time, but I would say as much as I can these days. How many hours do you practice a day? How many? Hour and a half, 90 minutes? Good, that's definitely a good start. Who here practices more than an hour and a half a day? There we go. Anything else? Yes?
What's the best thing to approach when you're practicing?
That's a big and open question. I think that really depends on what you're into as a musician and as a drummer. What do you like, musically speaking?
I love playing everything.
Yeah.
I love all groove bass.
I mean, I think one of the good things to do for any of us is to direct our practice towards the music that we enjoy, and, you know, assess what kinds of things would be beneficial for us to become as proficient in the style that or the styles that we like. I found that I was always interested in too many things, so from the moment that I got into serious practicing, I found that I always worked on a lot of stuff, and I always had to go back and revisit it again. But it's worked out. I mean, I think the kind of the broad approach has been good for me, especially if you're able to put in the time. Then I think it's nice to get as well-rounded. And again, like I said, musical interest should be. I also like a lot of music, so that takes longer than being into one style and you know, just doing that. I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying, you know, we're all built differently. Anything else before I play a little bit more? Okay, so I'm going to play, I guess, how about this? I'll pick. There's a tune of mine from the second album that featured Matt Garrison on bass and Marko Djordjevic on saxophone. And it's a piece in 13/16, and I can sing you the riff or the rhythmic background, and then what I'll do is I'll play through the entire solo form, which every instrument on the track takes a solo over the same 16 measures plus one measure of a break where the drums play a fill in the turnaround. And essentially the rhythm, so the first is a 7, and then 2 times 3, I guess. And so basically I'll be hearing that melody in the entire solo. I'll be referring to that in my mind and you know, refer to it as I keep playing the solo. One other thing that I should mention, after I am done, if you're interested in hearing the music that goes with this sort of drumming, I will be hanging at the rhythm booth right outside for the signing, and will be my CDs and DVDs also, which feature one of your kind, Yannick Wazdala, the great bass player from England, who's been in the States for a while, but the DVDs with the two of us, so please come on and say hi at the rhythm booth once I'm done. And then of course later on I'll be hanging out in the Natal booth, so like I said, please don't be shy, come by and say hello. So here it is, I will play that second solo, and I will put these headphones on, not for any, I mean there's nothing that the headphones are going to, not so much to protect my hearing because I'm not playing for that long, but in rooms this big it's sometimes nice to put studio headphones on, and they kind of contain the sound for you and make you feel like you're projecting a bit more. So here is a solo based in Atlanta. you very much. Thank you indeed. So before we wrap it up, like I said, once again, I will be at the rhythm booth right after this and the tal after that. Any more questions that anybody would like to ask? Anything else that we could discuss before we wrap up the proceedings? Yes, please.
I've been playing about 20 years and I'm still trying to get down a single stroke roll. And from watching you playing at different speeds, different volumes and intensities and different surfaces like rims, your control of the single stroke roll is just incredible. What kind of exercises do you do or did you used to work on to get that control?
My teacher back home in Serbia set me on this whole path of getting the wrists together first, then getting an open stroke, getting the fingers together, and then being able to do all that in concert. But essentially, you know, to go kind of really quickly through the idea of evolving a single stroke roll. So the first thing is just being able to do it with wrists without any finger help, which means basically tightening up enough so that the fingers can't work at all. All you have to do is just touch your palm with your fingers. That way you make sure that they're not out and working. Getting the wrists together. Then playing with the wrist but opening the grip a little bit so you can get some rebound. Then working on the fingers. Making sure the fingers can work without wrists, just like before the wrists were working without fingers. And then putting it all together. And the last thing, if I really have to play open, wide, and big, and loud, then I actually completely release the grip and use my bigger muscles to propel. You know, this happens like 3-4 times in a gig, if that many, but for something really big and expressive. So essentially I'll let my shoulders and the back sort of take over while my hands remain completely loose, so there's the best chance of rebound, so I don't have to work for it so hard. And that's pretty much it, and then take that to the toms, and then it works. Just take more than a few minutes. It takes a little longer than the explanation. Anything else we could possibly talk about? And if not, I'd like, yes, please. Uh-huh. But the thing is, I am playing singles. Yeah. So yeah, I just do them in concert. So basically, it's the same motion from both sides, you just have to time it. So the left foot is offset. So it's just like... So yeah, they're single strokes, which is done in... Where you're sitting close. Anything else that we could talk about? And if not, I would like to thank you guys for being here. Enjoy the rest of the show, and hopefully I'll see you at the rhythm stand in a little bit. Thank you very much.